Last game championship performances, guys we thought played offense. Mitchell Page, outstanding game, 9 catches, 101 yards. Had some strong effort, but we didn't think the performance was quite up to speed. But Coy Cronk and Brandon Knight up front played hard. Need to play better. Wes Martin as well. Danny Friend did have a critical holding call. Thought Divine battled. Got to clean up a protection issue he had, and Xander came in with some spunk. But Mitchell's the only one we recognize with the championship level play. Defensively, several guys up front was really good. Our second team's got to pick it up a little bit, but Doherty was very strong. Ralph Green, very productive. Nate Hoff and Greg Gooch, those 4 recognized with championship performances. Marcus Oliver at linebacker, and then our 3 safeties with Crawford, Marcelino Ball, and Chase Dutra. Had some good work in the kick game. The sky punt that Gottsel downed led to some point production after the block by Dutra. Tigre Scales with a couple tackles at Mitchell Page, so we did really well in the punt game. Our punt return team accounted for 9 points potentially with the block safety and the good returns up at the short field. The sky punt that we downed led to points. That was good to get. Kickoff cover, Donovan Hale's coming on, looking good, growing as a player, and Chris Covington's really coming on. It's good to see. Players of the game, offensively was Mitchell Page. Defensively, John Crawford, very productive, 1 interception, pass breakups, very good. Special team player, Chase Dutra. He's been that a couple times and doing well, playing splitting time at safety as a veteran, but doing great in the special team. Xander Diamont, Alex Rodriguez, Taysir Mack were our offensive scouts, and Kenny Arnold, defensive scouts. Those guys get recognized a lot. Xander played some quarterback in the game for us, but basically last 2 weeks has been our scout team guy running around. I'll probably get a lot of the same look this week with Northwestern's quarterback, so he's doing great. It's great to see. He's been one of our best teammates. Offensively, issues, again, score zone opportunities we keep missing, a pick 6. We've lost 2 games where we lose by less than a touchdown. We have a pick 6 in 2 of the 3 losses. Went 3 and out or 3 and a field goal after turnovers. Didn't take advantage of defensive turnover play. And really just the lack of competitive plays. The really only one-on-one real good competitive play was Ricky Jones on the go ball right before our last touchdown. So, we're making some plays. We need more competitive plays, whether it be a competitive blitz pickup, a shot, a catch, a run. Same thing defensively. Really playing well, but again, chance to make a competitive play when the game's on the line. It's got to pick up. Defensively, we gave up the big plays. Some of them maybe misfortunate, but 2 big plays. Long drive at the end. We're 14-play drive. They hadn't had a really long drive since the first quarter. I think they had 210 yards offense going into the 4th quarter, and really played well after the first quarter. I think second, third quarter really beat them up well. They had the 1 long play, but then they come off of that with the 4th quarter long drive. They had 10 points in the 4th quarter. I think, again, Coach Allen will talk about, in his opinion, just critical execution in crunch time. And we just have a few busts, not as clean as we need to be. A couple things have been there, just game on the line, just need to be a little bit sharper. Good challenge this week. Again, good opponent the last week, but another good one this week. Northwestern, tailback, leads the conference in rushing. Young man that we recruited very hard, very, very proven player. Very good runner. Had 180-some yards and 34 carries against Michigan State. Last week, their wide receiver, Austin Carr, leads the Big Ten in receiving. So they got the number 1 runner, number 1 receiver. He's playing outstanding. He's the first guy since Teddy Johnson to score 5 touchdowns in a row in 5 straight games. That was back on the 2000 team. I was there. It was a hot team. This team's playing really good offense the last couple weeks. 38 on the road at Iowa and 54 at Michigan State. Don't happen a whole lot. That's good football. Quarterback Clayton Thorson won 10 games last year as a redshirt freshman. You can really see him growing and settling in. Can move around with his feet, but really throwing it clean. They're running the ball. Last couple games, over 400 yards and holding the opponent down. But Clayton's throwing for a couple, putting 500 yards on Michigan State at Michigan State, and 54 points. I think is the most ever in Michigan State Stadium. So playing good. Again, they've won at Iowa, at Michigan State, and they beat Duke. And we know, having played all those teams, how hard those victories are, because those are teams that we've struggled against. They're 2-1 in the Big Ten, in the Big Ten West, and they have a chance to continue to move forward there. Defensively, have been very solid for years under Coach Henke. Pat Fitzgerald himself is a former great defensive player, so they put together a team very, very well. Don't give up the big play. Really good at linebacker, outstanding safety, big in the defensive line, big and strong. So good defense. 95-yard kickoff return last game, 47-yard punt return against Iowa, so good in the kicking game. Matter of fact, I believe after the Iowa game, they gave up some returns, and looking at the videotape, it looked like they had complete new punt team and complete new kickoff cover team. Play a lot of their defensive starters last week in their win at Michigan State. We know the team well. We got a lot of respect for those guys, know the school. So for our Coach Watson was there with Coach Barnett. Myself and Coach Johns and Coach Patton followed that crowd, so we know the school, we know their coaches, got a lot of dear friends, a lot of people we respect and love up there. It's a great program. It's a program that's came a long way. It'll be a tough road win, something we don't have a lot of here, and Big Ten wins we don't have a lot of, so it's going to be a tough challenge. We're coming off a good stretch of games, and we're going to need a better week to have a chance to go play well against this team because they're playing good. Had off to a good start. Came in yesterday, made our corrections, had a good start here today, but we'll need a good week playing a noon kick, 11 Central Time up there. So good challenge, but ready to keep moving forward in the Big Ten play. Disappointed to be 1-2, but ready to keep moving forward.
A few offensive line guys there talking about last weekend's performances. Guys, I think you said played hard, just maybe the execution wasn't always there. Is it just a matter for those guys not so much of effort as it is cleaning up?
Really, the offense is just a lack of not being as clean a team. Because I think you got 3 receivers in the top 12 in the conference, running backs, I think 6 now rushing, quarterback second. So you got some guys that are individually being productive, but it's playing as a group, and that's what we're talking about. It's putting together as a team. And I think individually, we've actually had some individual defense that haven't been bad, that hadn't played together as a team. They're playing better team defense. They're playing collectively as a group, and I think our offense is a little fragmented right now, not by design. I think it starts with me and our coaches to get that corrected and to get those guys centered up and get lasered back in. So there's a lot of things to work with. We've had a few little issues with some bumps and bruises and guys that can't go, but everybody has that. Guys got to come in and play. And again, you just look at the numbers do not correlate to points. So that's play calling. That's also executing the play that's called as a group. And like I say, in these last 2 games, Northwestern, I think, has 10 sacks against Iowa and Michigan State. I think they've had 7 turnovers in their 3 victories that they've created. And so our ability as an offensive play as a group to eliminate the negative play, which is played, I think, in our 3 losses, we have 9 turnovers. And we have 11 for the season, I believe. So, I mean, it's not very secretive what wins. You're not going to be perfect, but we need to be better. And like I say, we've got some those young tackles played hard. Wes Martin played hard. We got some seniors playing. I don't know if Feeney goes this week. He's doing more in every day. We'll see if Dan gets back. Ian Thomas played his best at tight end last week. That position always helps the line. And Ian coming on, helping Danny, will help us with some tight end play. But again, to me, our offense is just a little, there's no egos or selfishness. We're just a little out of whack, and we're talking about tighten it up. You got to play as one unit. Right now, we got a lot of individual talent. Just gets a little out of sync. We're just misfiring. We'll see if we can clean it up. We've also played some really good defenses, FYI. I saw Wake Forest till Florida State 17-6 in Tallahassee. I mean, played some pretty good defenses, so you got to give credit to those guys. We keep attacking it, and we're going to keep pointing thumbs at what we can correct. But we've been challenged, and we'll be challenged. Northwestern's really, really good. We're going to be challenged hard this week.
I guess you need some of those younger linemen in particular, maybe to I don't know if the phrase is find their voice or what it might be, just because all of a sudden they're playing a lot more. They're kind of regular first team guys with some of the injuries you've had.
And they need to what?
Just kind of, I don't know, find their voice or confidence or maybe.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you watch Corey Crunk play now, and he's out there playing against, small school, high school kid playing high-end ball, and he's not giving up. I mean, he's battling now. So, I mean, like I say, we're just, you're never that good when you're good. You're never that bad when you're all bad. We're just a little bit off. And there's a lot of things in place to work with, and we'll see if we can, like I say, collectively get them centered up and focused up and get it attacking right. But, again, when you're making those plays, there are guys blocking. When you're throwing bubble passes, we had a bubble pass the other day. It was one of those critical 4th downs. We didn't go on 2nd down. We had a receiver just sit there and not block it. Guy and got us into 3rd and 2 or 3 when it should have been a 1st down. And so it's just, when you play as a group, we had a pick because one of our receivers didn't think the guy was going to go out, so he kind of slowed down, muddied the water. That was the pick 6. And he was thinking too much instead of playing fast. So I think the group's pressing a little bit, and we're just talking about there's some individual, when you don't have players to work with, you got problems. And we got some players, we just got to clean it up. We're going to work hard, like I say, to correct what's correctable. bottom line to me, it's just getting our guys, it's cleaning up some play calling, making sure that we know what we're doing, a little bit more sound, understanding, so we can play harder. We're playing hard. Just got to keep playing better.
They had struggled offensively early in the season. Now they've picked it up. Maybe what's the key to that in particular? Is it just that they're getting better quarterback play? Is that?
Well, the line's playing better. I think they've been patient. Got the running game going with the running game. The Carr kid come on, receiver's been awesome, but a couple of the receivers. Got a young freshman from in-state here whose dad played here. Skronik's a really good player from Fort Wayne area. So, I mean, they collectively, they like us, they weathered their storms. They were a little out of whack. But I think, they went in, coached what they needed to coach, cleaned it up. They've played really, really well the last few weeks. And I think they're playing good team ball. Defense is complementing the offense. They're getting sacks. They're getting turnovers. They're not giving up plays. They played really well against Nebraska. It's a 24-13 game. So in their last 4 games, they got 3 victories and a close loss to a really good team. So but they've weathered their storm offensively, and they played really well the last 2 weeks, especially their last 2 road games, really well on the road at Iowa and at Michigan State. Those are good victories.
Halfway through the season, how would you evaluate Rich and just the way the job he's done?
He's doing, I think well. The one pick the other day, he sees what's going on and tries to back shoulder one. Really, the receiver's got to space out play. I'd still like for him to continue to be more confident, stronger. He's gaining on it. He's had good practices. I'm good. Thank you. He's had, he's practiced well. He's working at it hard. We got a few more turnovers than we'd like to have, but there's not a lot of times where, he missed the last one high as protection's breaking. We got to continue to clean up protection. We got to get you can throw it much better when your run game's going. Last 3 weeks, we've had some tough sledding and running the ball for about 4 weeks. That being said, you're throwing behind chains and you're getting long yardages. That skews your numbers a little bit.
A couple minutes ago, you said something about cleaning up play call. Is that the plays being called or just communication of the?
No, plays being called, and sometimes again because of what we're doing, you can just always, I think, maybe get more offense than you need, and just hard getting rhythm, hard practicing it. How many times you've done it? Hey, you know what to do, but does the kid know what to do? And does he know what to do with all the formations that you have, all the coverages, like in Rich's situation, all the coverages you're dealing with, or Coy Crunk and Brandon Knight, you got first-time starters at tackles, all the blitz looks and edge pressures, and by the time you put all those variables together, they don't get a lot of the same looks over and over and over and over. And so if you simplify, you get too easy. If you want to get cute and coach too much, you can complicate it for your kids. And there's a balance that we got to get where, we're keeping the defense off guard and not just run past, but there's tendencies you have in formations and down in distances. But as you try to balance yourself, do your kids know what they're doing? And so it's just, to me, we've just tried to look at what do you need this week and what are we good at, what's Rich good at, but we also just don't want to be bland in what we're doing. Well, we had an issue with one kicker, and so he's the best one, and he had a couple money kicks at the end into the wind when the game's on the line. Matter of fact, one of them popped out to about the 27. He pinned the guy down on the 2-yard line all the way in the corner like we liked it, and those were huge kicks. The 45-yarder, but again, before, I think he overkicked a couple weeks ago as he was trying to work through his issues and just kind of irritate his leg, and we've tried to modify some of his practice. I think we're 8 of 12 in field goals, 2 out of 3, and so we've been a little bit off. And we were close to being in range a couple times. Just felt we wanted to go for it and didn't. But no guarantee we'd have made the kick. But But he really came out of the game, I think, feeling better. This will be an interesting game for him. It's the only game this year we got on the grass. We're so much used to turf. Of course, he's been on the grass kicking for several weeks, getting ready for it. But sometimes you can make that a little bit more of a mental case than you need to be. But he came out good. He's got a good look about him. He looks a little bit more like himself. We'll see if we can keep him going.
With Xander this weekend, how much of that was pre-planned? How much of it was kind of something you guys felt like you needed to introduce in game? And
we had talked about in some running situations to have him ready to go in and practiced it. And it just presented itself, and it worked a couple, and we wrote it a few times. We also threw it, overshot a play action post where he needed to squeeze it. Protection was breaking down. Matter of fact, that running back missed after the play fake at backer, but he overshot a shot to Mitchell. I think he had several bubble passes. I think he threw the ball 7 times. So he's not a wildcat guy, but he is a guy that can run a little. And we thought, in some of those situations it would help. So it was kind of, we didn't say, hey, we're doing it here. It was just, if we thought we needed it, it was ready to go. He came in and did well.
Coach, Tigray is right at the top of the league right now, and Tigray scales right at the top of the league in tackles. How much of that is the 4.25, or how much of it is maybe him starting to become like an all-conference level player?
I'd say both. Go ahead.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
No, just his fourth straight game, I think, with double digits in tackles for him.
Yeah. And Coach Allen tell you or Coach Inge too would probably say they wish it was less. That means you got less plays, and it's kind of like when our kickers kicking all the field goals last year. You wish you were scoring more touchdowns. So I think they'd want those tackles to be fewer because you're on the field less. You're getting more stops, and the offense is keeping the ball and keeping our defense off the field. But I'd say he's definitely grown. He's in his third year. But I think also it's a part of the structure of where I think both he, our Mike Backer, and our couple safeties, Crawford and Marcelino Ball, they're always going to be a focal point of where balls get bounced to them. And so credit to, it's a little bit of the schemes, a little bit of the nature of the position. Linebackers and safeties always have a lot of hits. But all that whole crowd, except for Marcelino and Ashawn being freshmen that are talented, the whole group in general has grown. It's matured. Crawford's more steady and more self-assured and confident. Tony Fields and Dutra are gaining on it. We're getting really good play out of Fant. Marcus Oliver's been rock solid. Tigray's been the best of them. That's credit to him. Credit to the scheme. I think it's also credit to Coach Allen and holding the standard and pushing him. And I think Tom and Bill would say they'd want him to do better too. And we kind of share with our defense, much like we shared with our offense a year ago. If you think you're doing good, it's not good enough. Because you got to do what it takes to win, and you're doing better. And we see it, we're proud of it, but it's going to have to, you got to get. We needed that stop at the end of the game, as well as you're doing. And because you consider, offense never blamed the defense. Defense not going to blame you if the offense is off. You got to do what it takes to win. And I think that's the mantra and the chemistry of the team we're trying to get. We're doing good, and we just want everything to keep getting better. So the offense has a lot of things to clean up, but I know the defense feels the same way, and it's good to see.
With the red zone struggles, is there any thought of getting the tight ends more involved down there?
What's that now?
With the red zone struggles, is there any thought of getting the tight ends more involved?
Well, with Fuchs being injured, takes a little bit out with some of the passing that you had. Ian Thomas really played his best game. He missed the bulk of summer, getting his grade straight. So he's kind of now, no different than years ago when Stephen Houston started and Timmy Bennett started. And they missed the summer and they show up. It takes about to October to get you ready. You need a couple months. And they missed kind of June and July. So Ian came on, helps. Dorsey has been a little inconsistent. And, and Danny does well, but he's a little bit more of a big block guy, and we've used him a little. So there's some of that, but no matter what you do, they can always put one more. You still got to, I would say as much as anything, we talked about the competitive plays. And when you get in the scoring zone, a lot of times it's one-on-one, it's a competitive play. You got to make it, and we got to make more. And whether it be one tight end, two tight ends, no tight ends, run or pass, we got to make competitive plays to score.
It seems like he's been getting maybe progressively more work. We saw Camion draw the pass interference this weekend. I guess, is he starting to get that sharpness, not necessarily the health, but maybe the game speed?
Yeah, at the same time, he's coming off an ACL that was operated on April the 14th. So he's 6 months and what's today? 17th? So he's 6 months and 3 days off of ACL surgery, where typically they clear you to start jogging at 6 months. So he's kind of he's one of the few medical guys we had that's ahead of schedule and coming back good. So, he's kind of like, he's a very talented kid. It's still self-confidence. It's physical strength. He's gaining on it. Had a good go today. Had a few glitches today. He's got to clean up, but he's gaining on it. But we got to keep bringing it. I really was impressed the way Donovan Hill played last week and kick cover and starting to really come on and play fast and not be so timid and tentative. And as a young player, that'll help him be a better receiver. He had a nice catch. He ran out of bounds. Thornton had a bubble pass. We got to keep all those guys coming along. But Camion's doing good. But now, most guys would still be in not even practicing yet. So he's way ahead of schedule. And it's impressive, to tell you the truth. Credit to him and the medical guys there. Anything? You got your purple on. Is that purple?
It's blue.
What?
It's blue. It's pure purple.
Huh?
Anyway, Northwestern allows the most passing yards per game in the conference. Is that an area that you maybe look to exploit, or are you still, would you prefer to kind of establish a balance?
if we can have balance, it's always easier, you know what I mean? And they, like our other opponents recently, you know, they're very good at linebacker, they're very stout up front, those safeties and backer fits are extra hats. That's hard. And so if you're just gonna come out and wing it and you get one, that's the nature of what they do, they wanna get you one-dimensional. And you can say they're last in those stats, but they're 2-1, playing a pretty good conference schedule today. I mean, you know, Nebraska at home and at Iowa and at Michigan State. So part of it's their formula. And for us, our offense has always been best when there's a run game. And their offense up there has gotten going on because they've gotten their run game going. And with that now, they're a little bit more complete animal. So it's going to be hard. We got to find a way to find it, and we'll work hard too. And it's going to be a challenge. And it will the next week. You know, the really good defenses and really good teams make it hard to run, and the really good teams can still find a way to get it running.
Injury questions, but I guess, Dimitri, is there kind of any feel for whether or not you'd be able to get him back late in the season? I don't know where you kind
Yeah, I think most of those guys would be at Bass Bowl, and then from there you just look at, you know, and I mean, it's a long time off. You know, with Fuchs and Simi and him, and, you know, all those injuries are, I mean, it's just, I don't think we'll know that till we got to worry about this week. Those are weeks away, and we've talked to him. He's got his plan about where he gets to. We'll see if things materialize.